Let's begin with a fundamental truth that many of us overlook in our pursuit of success. The most meaningful work, the work that truly shapes us, is often done in silence. It's tempting in today's world to seek immediate recognition, to share our efforts on social media, to have people see the sweat we put into our craft. But this is where we miss the point. The most profound transformations in life occur when you're willing to immerse yourself in the quiet, to do the work with no expectation of applause, and to understand that progress doesn't always need to be shown to the world in real time. Consider the nature of growth. If we are to truly grow, to transform into something greater than we were before, we must accept that growth requires time. It is the long, arduous hours spent working on something with intense focus, often without anyone noticing. This is where the real value lies. No one can see the hours you spend honing your skills, working through the failures and pushing past the setbacks. But those are the hours that define you. The quiet moments of effort, the times when no one is watching, are where the seeds of success are planted. Now, why do we need silence in this process? Why not seek out external validation? Because external validation is fleeting. It's like a sugar rush, momentary and ultimately unsatisfying. It distracts you from the deeper work of cultivating discipline, resilience, and skill. If your motivation is dependent on praise, what happens when it fades? What happens when the world doesn't recognize your effort? You're left empty with no foundation for real, lasting success. When you work hard in silence, you are working for yourself, not for others. You are doing the work because it brings meaning to your life. You are developing mastery not to be seen as superior, but to improve yourself. You understand that the path to greatness is built step by step, and each step requires focus and dedication, not acknowledgement from the world around you. There's also a profound psychological benefit to this kind of work. When you rely on external validation, you're essentially outsourcing your sense of worth. You let others dictate how you feel about yourself. But when you work in silence, your self-worth becomes intrinsic. You learn to measure success by your own standards, not by how many people see you, let you or praise you or praise. This builds a sense of internal strength and self-respect. You learn that what you're doing is valuable regardless of what others think. This sense of purpose fuels the effort, making it sustainable over time. Moreover, working hard in silence allows you to tune out distractions. The world is noisy. There are so many voices pulling you in different directions, trying to tell you how to live, how to succeed, what you should care about. In that noise, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But in silence, you find clarity. You're able to listen to your own thoughts, your own instincts, and your own goals. You can focus on the work itself, on the process of improvement, without being distracted by the noise of approval or criticism. The silence, the solitude of the work also builds resilience. When no one is watching, you must learn to push forward on your own. You learn to face your weaknesses and conquer them, to fail without being humiliated, to succeed without being overly congratulated. The journey becomes about internal growth, not external recognition. And this makes your work not just about achieving something, it makes it a process of becoming who you are truly meant to be. So if you're going to succeed in anything worthwhile, remember that the work will be long, difficult, and largely unseen. But it is in those moments of silent effort that you will become the person you aspire to be. And when the time comes, when the results manifest, the world will see the depth of your work, not because you sought to show it off, but because your quiet efforts have led to something extraordinary. Work hard in silence, for it is in that silence that the most profound and lasting achievements are born. The power of silent effort is a concept that runs counter to the loud, attention-grabbing world we live in today. We're surrounded by noise, by constant updates, notifications, and the pervasive expectation of instant recognition. It seems as though every achievement must be shouted from the rooftops, every success must be shared with the world, and every effort must be validated by others. But in reality, the most meaningful and transformative work often takes place far away from the spotlight, in the quiet hours where no one is watching. It is in these moments of silent effort that true progress is made. When you choose to work hard in silence, you're making a commitment to the process rather than the outcome. You understand that the journey of improvement is the reward itself. It's not the applause or the accolades that matter most, but the quiet moments of struggle, the persistence in facing obstacles, and the steady growth of your skill, knowledge, and character. You realize that it's not about getting attention for your efforts, but about improving yourself. It's in the silence where you push through the difficulties, confront your limitations, and make steady strides toward your ultimate goals. Consider any successful person you admire. They likely have stories of quiet, relentless work that took place when no one was around to witness it. They didn't start out with an audience cheering them on. They worked in the shadows, honing their craft and mastering the necessary skills. It was only after years of this silent effort that their work was recognized. The breakthrough moments, the ones that seem to come out of nowhere, are usually the result of long periods of unseen struggle and discipline. In a world where it's easy to be distracted by the desire for quick feedback and validation, working in silence becomes a powerful act of defiance against that temptation. It is an act of prioritizing what's truly important over what's easy. Instead of seeking out external validation, you focus on improving yourself in the privacy of your own practice. You come to understand that progress doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it means slogging through the hard parts of a task with no immediate reward. Sometimes it's about making mistakes and learning from them without anyone else witnessing the failures. But this is the real work. This is where the foundation of future success is built. By working silently, you also build resilience. The process of working without external praise teaches you to keep going even when there's no immediate recognition. You learn to trust the process, to have faith in your efforts, even when the results aren't visible to others. This quiet work builds mental toughness. You come to realize that the journey itself is valuable, regardless of whether others are watching or applauding. The more you commit to the process, the more you reinforce your self-worth, not based on external validation, but based on the confidence that comes from knowing you're doing the right thing. The work done in silence is often the work that endures the longest. It doesn't rely on fleeting attention or the whims of others. Instead, it builds from within, driven by internal motivation and sustained through personal discipline. The silent effort you put in today will over time create results that speak for themselves. And when that moment of recognition finally comes, it won't be the result of seeking validation, but the inevitable consequence of years of quiet, hard work. The power of silent effort is that it shapes not only the outcome, but the person you become in the process stronger, more resilient, and more capable. It is this transformation, far more than any external recognition, that will prove to be the true reward. Avoiding the trap of instant gratification is one of the most crucial elements in the journey toward meaningful success. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the pattern of seeking quick rewards. We are constantly exposed to systems that deliver immediate results: social media likes, instant messaging, and the ever-present barrage of notifications that demand our attention. This has conditioned many of us to expect quick recognition for every effort we make, regardless of its depth or value. But as many of the most successful people will attest, true achievement is rarely the result of instant gratification. Instead, it comes from a long process of focus, sustained effort over time. Instant gratification feels good in the moment. A like on a photo, a comment on a post, a quick acknowledgement for completing a task, it all provides a small boost of dopamine, tricking us into thinking we've accomplished something meaningful. But the problem is, this sense of achievement is fleeting. It's short-lived and superficial. Once the novelty wears off, we're left craving more and more instant rewards, always chasing the next rush. This creates a cycle where our attention becomes scattered, and our focus drifts away from the deeper, more rewarding work that requires sustained effort over time. If we allow ourselves to become addicted to these quick bursts of validation, we lose sight of the true value of work. The deeper satisfaction, the lasting results come from investing in tasks that may not yield immediate rewards, but are ultimately far more fulfilling. It's the ability to delay gratification, to put in the hours, and to build something of substance that distinguishes the truly successful from the rest. Think about anything that is truly worth pursuing. It requires time, dedication, and often a lot of hard work behind the scenes that no one sees. No great athlete becomes world-class overnight. No artist perfects their craft in a matter of weeks, and no entrepreneur builds a thriving business without a long, sometimes painful period of trial and error. This concept is not about rejecting all forms of reward or recognition. Rather, it's about understanding that the real rewards come when your work put in the hard work without expecting immediate acknowledgement. The instant validation we receive from external sources is a distraction. It pulls our attention away from the long-term goals that require true focus. When you are truly committed to your work, you begin to measure success not by the immediate feedback you receive, but by the internal satisfaction of knowing that you are progressing, even if others can't see it yet. The ability to delay gratification also requires a shift in mindset. Instead of seeking constant praise, you must develop the patience to trust the process. This mindset allows you to focus on the work itself, rather than the external recognition that may or may not come. It means working diligently, even when no one is watching, because you know that what matters most is your personal growth and the value of the effort you are putting into your craft. By avoiding the trap of instant gratification, you are able to build something that lasts. The work done in the quiet, without the need for immediate validation, is the work that endures. It is the work that will ultimately produce results that are far more meaningful and satisfying than the fleeting, temporary rewards of instant feedback. When you invest in long-term goals and focus on consistent progress, you develop a sense of purpose and fulfillment that cannot be replaced by quick, shallow recognition. True success comes not from the immediate acknowledgement of others, but from the deep, ongoing satisfaction of knowing you've worked hard, stayed committed, and achieved something worthwhile. In essence, by avoiding the trap of instant gratification, you cultivate patience, focus, and perseverance, qualities that are essential to achieving anything of lasting value. The process may be slow, the rewards may take time, but in the end, the satisfaction and fulfillment that come from truly mastering something or building something meaningful far outweigh the fleeting pleasures of instant recognition. This is the path to working hard in silence, teaches us to rely on intrinsic motivation rather than the approval or praise of others. In a world dominated by social media and constant external feedback, it's easy to become dependent on the validation that comes from likes, comments, and recognition. We live in an age where achievements are often broadcasted and people are encouraged to share their every move. But the real power, the lasting fulfillment, comes when you can cultivate a sense of motivation that comes from within yourself. This internal drive doesn't rely on what others think, and it's far more sustainable and powerful in the long term. Intrinsic motivation is rooted in the love for the work itself. When you work for the sake of the work, when you focus on the process instead of the external outcome, you become deeply connected to what you're doing. This internal drive means you don't need constant external affirmation to keep going. The work itself becomes the reward. In other words, you find joy, satisfaction, and meaning in the journey of improvement and the act of creation. It's not about seeking approval or being recognized. It's about the personal growth that comes from pushing through the challenges, overcoming obstacles, and striving for mastery. One of the most important aspects of intrinsic motivation is that it empowers you to keep going even when the world isn't watching. This is particularly important in a society where the external world often seems like it demands constant attention. If your motivation is tied only to the approval of others, you will eventually hit a wall. What happens when that validation isn't there? What happens when no one notices the work you're putting in? Or when the rewards you expect don't come? The truth is, if you only work for external validation, you'll find yourself constantly chasing something that is ultimately unsatisfying. But when you work for the intrinsic reward, the sense of accomplishment, growth, and learning, you're empowered to keep moving forward even when no one is watching. You think about the most successful people in history. They didn't succeed because they were constantly seeking validation. They succeeded because they were driven by something deeper, something inside them that kept them going even when it seemed like no one was paying attention. They understood that the pursuit itself was worthwhile. Whether it was an artist perfecting their craft, a scientist working tirelessly on research, or an athlete pushing through grueling training sessions, they didn't wait for applause. They found meaning in the effort. And that intrinsic drive is what sustained them through the long, difficult periods of work when no one else was there to witness their progress. When you rely on intrinsic motivation, you develop a sense of self-worth that is independent of others' opinions. You are no longer beholden to external forces for validation. Instead, you build a stronger, more resilient sense of self. This is particularly important in the face of failure. When you hit setbacks, when things don't go according to plan, if your motivation comes from within, you'll be able to persevere. You won't be as easily discouraged because your sense of worth isn't tied to the external outcome. It's tied to the process, the improvement, and the effort you're putting in. By working hard in silence, you strengthen this intrinsic motivation. You teach yourself that your worth isn't determined by what others think or say, but by the dedication and commitment you bring to your work. You create a deeper connection to your craft, your goals, and your personal growth. It's in these moments, working quietly and tirelessly, that you come to understand the value of your effort, even if the world doesn't immediately recognize it. And it's this internal satisfaction that will keep you going day after day until the results of your hard work finally manifest. When your motivation is intrinsic, you are not looking for shortcuts or trying to impress others. You are focused on mastery, on improvement, and on the growth that comes from consistently showing up and doing the work. This deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment leads to lasting success because it is rooted in something far more enduring than fleeting external praise. When you can cultivate this internal drive, you unlock a powerful, self-sustaining force that will carry you through the challenges and obstacles that inevitably come with pursuing any worthwhile goal. Building resilience and focus through silent effort is one of the most powerful tools for personal and professional growth. In a world filled with distractions and constant noise, the ability to focus deeply on your work and persevere through challenges without external support is a skill that sets apart those who achieve lasting success. Resilience and focus are not traits you are born with, they are cultivated through deliberate practice, often in solitude as you push forward toward meaningful goals. Silent effort creates an environment where resilience can flourish. When you work quietly without seeking immediate validation or recognition, you develop the strength to continue regardless of external circumstances. Resilience is the ability to face setbacks, failures, and obstacles without losing your motivation or sense of purpose. In silence, you are forced to confront these difficulties head-on with a crutch of external encouragement. This confrontation with struggle is what builds resilience. You learn to endure discomfort, to push through moments of doubt, and to adapt when things don't go as planned. Over time, this ability to persist becomes a defining characteristic, enabling you to tackle even greater challenges in the future. Focus, too, is strengthened in the absence of distractions. When you remove the external noise, the constant pings of notifications, the temptation to share your progress for instant gratification, you create a space where your mind can fully engage with the task at hand. Deep focus allows you to immerse yourself in your work, to think critically and creatively, and to make meaningful progress toward your goals. This state of flow, where your attention is entirely absorbed in the process, is only achievable when you commit to working in silence. It is in this space of undisturbed focus that some of the greatest breakthroughs and accomplishments are made. However, building resilience and focus through silent effort is not an easy path. It requires discipline and a willingness to embrace the discomfort of working without external validation. In silence, there is no audience to cheer you on, no immediate feedback to reassure you that you're on the right track. This can be challenging, especially in the early stages when progress may feel slow or invisible. But it is precisely this challenge that makes the process so valuable. Each time you push through a moment of doubt or distraction, you are strengthening your ability to stay committed regardless of the circumstances. Silent effort also cultivates self-reliance. When you work without relying on others for motivation or recognition, you develop a stronger sense of ownership over your goals and achievements. You learn to trust your own judgment, to hold yourself accountable, and to find satisfaction in your progress rather than in external rewards. This self-reliance is a cornerstone of resilience, as it allows you to maintain your determination even when the external world offers no encouragement or support. Over time, the practice of working in silence transforms your mindset. You come to see setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow. You develop the ability to tune out distractions and focus entirely on what matters most. This resilience and focus become invaluable not only in your work, but in every aspect of your life. When challenges arise, you're better equipped to handle them because you have built the mental strength to persevere. When you encounter distractions, you can push them aside because you've trained your mind to prioritize what truly matters. Ultimately, the resilience and focus that come from silent effort are what enable you to achieve meaningful, lasting success. They are the foundation upon which all great accomplishments are built. By working hard in silence, you not only produce better results, but also become a stronger, more disciplined, and more capable individual. These qualities will serve you far beyond any single achievement, empowering you to face life's challenges with confidence and determination. Silent effort is not just about the work you do, it's about the person you become in the process. Long-term success is the product of consistent growth and unwavering effort, qualities that flourish when we embrace the discipline of working hard in silence. In a world often fixated on quick wins and flashy results, it's easy to overlook the quiet, steady progress that defines lasting achievements. True success is not a sudden event or a dramatic breakthrough. It is the culmination of countless hours of focused effort, often unseen and uncelebrated by others. This patient, deliberate approach allows you to build a foundation of skills, resilience, and self-mastery that can withstand the test of time. When you work in silence, you create the conditions for uninterrupted growth. Without the pressure of external validation or the distractions of constant feedback, you can focus entirely on the process of improvement. Silent effort is not about proving yourself to others. It is about proving something to yourself. It is about setting a standard for the quality of your work and holding yourself accountable to that standard. This mindset fosters a sense of discipline and consistency, which are essential for long-term success. One of the key benefits of working in silence is the ability to concentrate on your goals without being influenced by outside opinions or expectations. When you seek external approval, your focus can become fragmented. You may find yourself chasing applause rather than pursuing the meaningful, long